Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Coin Drop Podcast. Yes, that's right. I am back. I took a week off. Tim and Mike filled in the shoes, and I think you guys did a good job last episode. I think it was really good.
I bet.
You got heavy into the technical in the first half of the episode, talking about storage and direct to drive storage and stuff like that. You got a bit deep in the weeds with the SSD. I do too. I enjoyed it, but got a bit deep in the weeds in that. But I think it was good overall. How was it, man? It's 2 weeks now we haven't seen each other. What have you been up to? Yeah, how's the new house?
2 Saturdays works.
Yes.
I mean,
that usually means 2 weeks.
I mean, it's the house, man. I'm making progress here and there, and when I can. We actually just had the roof redone finally today, this morning. We played D&D last night, longer probably than we should have, and then they came by at 7:30 and started making a whole bunch of noise.
Nice. Well, let me. Before we jump into the fun stuff, let me tell you about the fucking shit show that was the start of my weekend. So I went out with the wife, took the new trailer we bought like 2 months ago. Still haven't taken it out. But we bought a camper trailer, took that up to my wife's grandparents' place. Well, so a few months back, I redid my brakes, right? Did the calipers, rotors, pads, all that. So it turns out the torque on the front end of my caliper mount bolts is higher torque than the rear bolts. And I found this out because my front caliper came off my truck.
Okay.
Yeah. It took us a while to figure it out, and unfortunately we didn't figure it out until it was grinding against my rim and cracked my fucking rim. Yeah. Good thing I have a full-size spare. Because it's an off-road vehicle, so, took that off. But it was a fucking nightmare getting out of here. After that, it was smooth sailing. Everything was great. Had some good time off-roading with that thing. Finally got to use, like, 4 low and crawl across some rocks and have some good times. But, man, that was a shit show getting out of town. We didn't get there until 3 hours after we were supposed to be there. It took us 3 extra hours to deal with all that, and it was a nightmare.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. Always something when you're going on road trips, but it was a good time. So for those of you joining us on Twitch and watching this on YouTube after it's been uploaded, we've taken some feedback. Actually, Tim got some feedback from, was it on Twitter? Where were you getting your feedback from? Just in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing my best to be active on there and trying to get more people to talk to and stuff like that. So it seems to be
it's kind of, we're getting hit or miss. Like our numbers are slightly going up and slightly down. That's pretty normal for a podcast from my understanding, and like we were talking about, it could be a long time before we really catch on, and hopefully we do. Hopefully not 19 years.
A little inside joke for you guys.
But I've reconstructed some of our layout here. Tim got some feedback that, make our faces a little bit larger. Hey, dude, 1%, lethal. Oh, it's Cameron. Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you in the chat, buddy. So we rebuilt kind of our cams and stuff like that. I scaled some stuff up to make our faces a bit more front and center. I'm not vain enough to make us the whole screen. I think you're here for video game content, even though you care about our personality for some weird reason. But hey, I appreciate it. So there's recently a potential leak. Well, potential announcement? Teaser? Let's go with teaser. Teaser on Twitter.
It's like one of them hidden ones.
Yeah.
They're hoping people would find it. And they did.
Yeah, so there was kind of a little teaser trailer announcement for Grand Theft Auto 6 that it might be closer than we think it is, like significantly closer. There's hinting that we could see. Yeah, I me's my thought on it, man. It's maybe not. It could just be like the trailer's closer.
Really, so to be fair, the only thing that's ever been officially confirmed is, that shit was real, we're making it. And that's it. That's all we've gotten. Everything else has been leaks. Nothing's been 100% confirmed. This one in particular, even if they do show us a trailer, that doesn't mean that it's not 2 years out.
Right.
I hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
But, the last game they released was Red Dead Redemption 2 in 2018, so this one's got to be really close.
I would like to think so, but again, we also got to remember the cash cow that is GTA Online. How willing are they really to put out a competitor to the most gross amount of money that they make, you know. But either way, there's the potential for a GTA 6 trailer by Christmas, and that's pretty cool.
I honestly lean towards them not ditching GTA Online. I imagine that they would have some sort of, I don't know, conversion thing, basically where excuse me, where you get to keep what you've done and bring it into this one. I feel like people wouldn't be very happy if they had to start over again, or maybe there's at least some sort of incentive to move over to the new one. I mean, it's gonna have to be a new engine, I guess. But I don't know. Who knows? I guess.
Yeah, that's a good point. For those who are online, see, that's the thing, right? So I got GTA 5 when it came out on the PS3, and then again on the PS4. And man, GTA Online started rough. And it took years before they even implemented heists. So it was one of those things that was like, by the time the game got good, so to speak, got features and stuff like that, I was pretty much out of the online world, because at the time I was playing it, you basically like robbed convenience stores and like shot players. Like it was almost as empty as GTA 4 online was. Like it was that like bare bones. So I always kind of forget. I don't forget, but I forget that like GTA Online is a fun game, because for me it's like, oh yeah, I want to go rob convenience stores again and drive around cars and get onto the airbase and steal a jet. Like that's what I remember, because that's what I experienced. There was not a ton of content there at the time.
Yeah, and now it's probably what, 5 to 10 times bigger than it was at that point.
Oh god, I imagine it's hundreds. I imagine it's hundreds.
I've never experienced any of it. I mean, I've seen some videos. They've got like these, like you can create ridiculous tracks, like that Trackmania type game.
Yeah.
And all sorts of other ridiculous amounts of stuff, plus storyline and so on and so forth. And I've thought about it, but ultimately, I'm more interested in the single player, anyways.
That was going to be kind of my point, was that like GTA 5's single player was great. And Cameron actually asked us a question in chat here saying,
that's what I'm laughing about.
I figured. He said, how many generations do you think GTA 6 will last? I'll tell you, it's going to last. It's going to last less than Skyrim, and it'll be released on less devices than Skyrim. Because Skyrim will probably re-release on PS6 and Xbox, whatever the next one is. Almost guaranteed. As hype.
I mean,
as hype for Elder Scrolls 6, it will.
They managed to get Doom, the original Doom, running on a pregnancy test. I think it's only a matter of time until Skyrim becomes that part.
Yeah, no joke. Skyrim is the new Doom in that case. But yeah, you know, you do make a good point with the online. Like, what is going to drag the players who have invested at this point almost more than a decade? It came out in 2014, didn't it? When did GTA Online?
It was 2012.
Was it that long ago? Anyways,
might have even before
at
then.
least a decade, roughly a decade of character development and gaming and all that. What's going to be enough to drag them from GTA Online, from GTA 5 to GTA 6? I mean, besides just graphics updates and stuff like that. Like, they've got to do something, like you said, like a conversion, an import of some sort, because it's not just going to be graphics and features that sell them. Like, there's got to be a reason that they're going to ditch their millions and millions and millions of dollars that they've accumulated, right?
Mm-hmm. September 2013, by the way.
Jesus.
2013. So yeah, it's been a decade.
Yeah.
What has me more interested, like I said, was the storyline.
Yeah.
There's rumors that there's going to be a male and a female protagonist, and that's the only thing I've really read. I'm wondering. I'm really hoping that they don't go with the same style they did with GTA 5, because I guess I couldn't really connect with either one of them, because you were constantly jumping back and forth to the others, and they were so massively different from one another.
Yeah.
I prefer the way they did Red Dead, where they focus on them.
I did.
And you get to really get close to that person.
I appreciated the new perspective of telling a story through three different versions, but I kind of felt the same. Like, I like Franklin a lot, but I almost feel like I was predisposed to like Franklin because he was the character you start with. You know what I mean? Like, he's where I guess technically you start with Michael, right? Is that his name? The white guy, the bank robber, because you do the intro as him. Right, and then he dies.
Yeah, you're right.
And then you play as Franklin, if I remember correctly. It's been years since I played it, but I don't know. I thought it was cool. It was a very interesting way, but I agree. It was hard to get close to any of those characters and really care about them because you were so constantly back and forth. So as long as they stick to one Or even, dude, just give us a custom character. Like, it's GTA. Just let us have a custom character. Have a male and a female voice actor. Yeah, like male and a female voice actor, and let us build who we want to be. But that's just my opinion. Either way, you know, Vice City's a cool freaking place. I remember being a kid playing GTA 3 Vice City in my buddy's garage for hours. And I remember, like, we had this thing where we kind of made our own game out of it, where you had to run from the cops, you had to get the cops on you. And then the whole goal, right, but like we took it like the whole goal was once you had 2 stars, you had to then find a guy on a Faggio, kill him, and try and survive as long as possible on that Faggio. Just dumb shit. Dumb shit.
Okay.
Yeah, so I remember the good times in Vice City, and not to mention like the Tommy Bahama Hawaiian shirts and shit from Vice City. It's a great setting. I'm looking forward to it.
Vice City is easily the best. And there still is no confirmation of where 6 is going to take place. So
yeah, I mean that's fair. That's fair. They could go back to Liberty City, but like, you know, Liberty City was the last one. It kind of seems like it goes in that arc, right? Like we do Liberty City, then we do Los Santos, then we do. I guess technically the first 3 games all took place in Liberty City, though, didn't they? GTA 1, 2, and 3.
I think so.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they did. Yep.
And then you had Vice City 3 and Los Santos. Yeah. And then they had Los Santos 3, and then 4 went back to Liberty. Yeah. Cameron's been listening to the GTA Vice City soundtrack apparently lately. I've been listening to Go Straight from Streets of Rage, thanks to you, Cameron. That shit's been in my head. If you haven't heard that song, look up Go Straight. On the Streets of Rage, old Sega 16-bit music's good shit.
Talking about listening to old things lately, I just started listening to Tenacious D the other day because it came up in conversation at work, and I found out they came out with a song called Video Games earlier this year.
Yeah.
And it's like a minute long, and I fucking love it. It's just ridiculous.
They got some good music. But anyways, yeah, there's not much really to say on GTA 6 with this. Getting back to it, it's a potential to see a trailer, which would be cool, but I'm also not holding out hope that we're going to see like, oh yeah, it's going to release in 2 months. I feel like GTA 6 is going to be a big launch title. It's either going to be like a summer next year release at the earliest, or a winter next year release to kind of hit that like that holiday time frame. Either that, or it's going to be still years out.
It's either going to be late next year or late the following year. There's no way they're going to release it early. So there's two different things about this, just for people's knowledge. Actually, one of them is one thing, the other one is a question. The first thing is that this teaser was on Twitter. You had to hit the like button 3 times in a row for it to actually pop up with the GTA symbol, the 6. So just for people to know, there's something with Elon Musk there. I actually saw a tweet. I saw a tweet that Elon Musk had put out. I think it was earlier today. It was just one of those stupid little like, when you're a level 1, you wear whatever armor, and I thought that was kind of funny. But the next thing is I forgot. So never mind. It had something to do with GTA 6, and I'm trying to be like, shit, what was it?
Just out the brain. Just gone, dude. Just fucking lost it. All right.
It was going to be a question. It was a question about something, but whatever.
Yeah. So moving on, we've got some news from Insomniac on the upcoming Wolverine game. Yeah, they did a quick interview, and they announced the universe that their game takes place in. Their universe is Marvel Universe 1048, which is really cool. So we've got like an official universe for the Insomniac games, which is really cool for people who are comics fans, because now you know that there's going to be crossovers. You're going to see 1048 somewhere in the future, and I think they've already done it a little bit. I remember seeing a quick screen grab of a comic where I don't know if it was the mainline Spider-Man or not, but it was a Spider-Man talking to 1048 Spider-Man, asking like about the number of heroes. I think he says something along the lines of like, how many heroes do you have in your Manhattan? And he's like, on average, about half a dozen or so. And he's like, well, and they're just kind of like talking about, he says like about half a dozen or so, but most of them are always gone. Kind of like making a reference to the fact that the Avengers are still gone in Marvel Spider-Man 2, the game that is. So kind of interesting there. But Insomniac has confirmed that Wolverine is in that same universe. The game they're working on will be in 1048. So that poses some really interesting potential for the future. To read his direct quote, this is from Games Radar. They did an interview. Kind of speaking directly on why there's no like Easter eggs to Wolverine in Spider-Man 2. So they directly did not want to put those in the game. They chose not to. And he said the decision was not to do it. Try thinking about it. I mean, I'm just trying to get Spider-Man off the ground while there's another Marvel thing I'm trying to get. I think for us, it's like, let's just let that team cook. Just let them cook. And I think that's brilliant. Is like, they're working on their own project. We don't want to try and interrupt what they're doing. We don't want to feed any weird information into them. You don't want to influence another team that's trying to create their own product too, right? So like, I really appreciate that as a head, as somebody in charge of a project. They're not like, obviously they're intertwined, but they're not overlapping, I guess, if that makes sense.
The main thing that I hope out of it is that they're in the same universe. Obviously, we're going to see some sort of crossover or something. It'd be really cool to see some sort of mission.
Yeah.
Where maybe you could even get to play as Spider-Man just because it'd be cool. Or at the very least, he's there as a side character. As to your question, Cam, I don't believe they've stated yet. They really haven't told us anything about the game. Open world, mission based. Who knows? It could be anything at this point. I mean, open world games tend to be what Insomniac does best, so that's probably your best bet.
Yeah,
but,
seems likely.
The most interesting thing I saw out of this information was there was an article that went live, and someone said that Insomniac needs to make another Marvel's Avengers game. So sort of fix what Square Enix fucked up and make an Avengers game. Thing is do they make it like Marvel's was it Ultimate Alliance?
It was a good game.
Games just they were. Or do they make it a live service?
Yeah.
Like Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah.
You know, like,
or do you just make it a classic 4-player split screen co-op, like Left 4 Dead or something, dude. But to finish off his quote here, he does end this by saying, "Who knows what the future holds? But for now, let's let them do their thing, and that game's going to be great." So that doesn't entirely say we won't see like a crossover in the future. I personally love the idea of a Insomniac Marvel Spider-Man Wolverine game, like that's such a classic team up in the comics, in the shows, just in all of it. That like, I would love to see that. I would love to see it so much.
Especially from Insomniac Games, they know what they're doing. I can't think of anything they've made that was trash, so I have complete trust in them. Like at this point, I don't know if there's another developer that hasn't done something to tarnish their reputation a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Insomniac.
Yeah.
I mean, even Naughty Dog is fucked up here and there. This hasn't been massive in my opinion, so I'm still super willing to trust everything they're doing. But they're still kind of fucked up on PC ports and stuff. In any case,
where did Insomniac start? Were they weren't Sly Cooper?
That was the Ghost of Tsushima guys. They started with Jack and Daxter.
Was it? Oh no, that was Naughty Dog.
No, Crash Bandicoot. It was Crash Bandicoot. No, you're right. That was Naughty Dog too. Shit, Insomniac Games. Where
did they start with Infamous?
No, that's also Sly Cooper guys. Infamous.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Ratchet.
What did they?
It is just Ratchet and Clank. It is Ratchet and Clank.
Is it? Okay.
For some reason, I was thinking there was something beforehand, but yeah, it's Ratchet and Clank.
Okay.
I was conflating Naughty Dogs. They they'd make a trilogy on one platform, and then a trilogy on the next platform, and so on and so forth. In any case, yeah.
Cameron does mention here my second favorite X-Men Wolverine game, which was weirdly enough the movie game of X-Men Origins. That was such a phenomenal Wolverine game, dude. Like, the only reason it's second favorite is because everybody who listens to this podcast knows I have a penchant for stealth games. Tenchu, where you at? Bring it back, 2024. They made a Wolverine. It was a PS2 and Xbox title. I want to say it was like Wolverine Weapon X or something like that. It was a stealth Wolverine game, and it was brutal and awesome. I don't for the life of me remember what it was called, but it was hands down my favorite X-Men game. It literally starts with you at the start of Weapon X, and you have to escape the facility, and he reaches around corners and just
movie, right?
No, this is a different one. So the other one. Yeah, this is my actual favorite one. Like, X-Men Origins is my second favorite, which is the one that Cameron was talking about. But this one was like a PS2 Xbox title. It was around the time X-Men Legends came out, but
I
it was.
remember exactly what game you're talking about.
Yeah,
'cause we
I
were,
don't remember
early
what.
at the time.
Yeah. What was that? It was Wolverine.
I don't even remember at this point. But yeah, I remember the game was pretty solid. Actually, wasn't it just Wolverine's Revenge or something
Maybe
like
it
that?
was. No, that was
I think.
X2. It wasn't X2. Um,
Okay.
I remember the cover. It definitely. What was it?
Yeah. Either way, I
Yeah.
remember the game too, and it was. I thought that was the X-Men Origins, the one that Cam was talking about.
Yeah, that is.
I never really played it.
That was a really solid one. Maybe it was Wolverine's Revenge. Anyways, there was a stealth X-Men game that was freaking phenomenal, and then X-Men Origins was also really, really solid. So, however Insomniac chooses to go with it, as long as they take advantage of his healing factor, which I would love to see that in today's graphics, where just chunks of him is getting blown off and just regenerating. Like, you remember Splatterhouse?
Well, I mean-
Splatterhouse did that so good on the PS3, dude. We're 2 generations past that.
You did see Spider-Man's the way that they have his suit rip and tear in the game,
Yeah.
but it also like regenerates over time.
Yeah.
As you heal up. So imagine that, but with flesh and blood.
Yeah, it'd be really cool. Or blown,
Imagine
you know.
with the system that is it Dead Island 2, the one where you can like literally punch someone down to their skeleton. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah,
The
yeah, I
flush
remember Mike
system
talking
they have?
about that.
Imagine,
hmm
Yeah, imagine something like that, but with Wolverine. That'd be pretty cool.
Right.
It regenerates.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that's X-Men. We got one more quick mention here before we move on. Batman Arkham Knight got a very sudden, random update. They added the Robert Pattinson suit and then immediately took it away on Epic Game Store, specifically on Epic Game Store. People got screenshots. It blew up on Twitter briefly. Yeah.
It basically just means someone accidentally hit the go live button way too soon.
I think that's the case.
I mean, that's not something you do on accident as far as developing and then releasing it and then going, oops, we didn't mean to do that. I mean, I guess it's possible too. Maybe they did develop it. They had some sort of like agreement with the movie makers to make it, put it in the game, and then it fell through, and then someone was like, I don't know, they were upset that the project they worked on, putting Pattinson's suit in the game, didn't actually make it into the game. So he's like, fuck you guys, I'm going to make it available for however long he could manage to make it available. But that's, to me, unlikely.
I gotta step away for just a second. The wife needs me, so Mike, make sure you cut this out for our podcast listeners. Tim, I'm gonna leave you here with our Twitch side. I'm sorry. The
fine.
wife has
I'll go
been
ahead
sick, and I
and
think she
talk
needs me.
about
Yeah.
other stuff.
Why
ahead.
don't we go ahead and that's the end of Batman. So we'll just jump into our next topic, which is shakeups at Sony and Microsoft, and I will just step away for a bit.
This was going to be mostly my topic anyway. So I actually haven't done as much research as I had planned, and Russ was doing stuff, so he sort of kind of was like, yeah, you can do that. But anyways, more or less what happened was there was actually kind of a bit of a shakeup at both Microsoft and Sony this last week. So Microsoft, I believe is more of a shakeup simply because they have new talent now. You know, they've got the entirety of Activision Blizzard, and so they can now take that talent or that leadership and mix it in with their leadership. And I'm hoping it's not all focused on how do I put this? Whatever. We'll just ignore what I was thinking. It's new leadership within the Xbox team to hopefully lead them into, I don't know, a brighter future. That's obviously what they would expect and what they would want. With the entirety of those studios, I think it's a little bit, I don't know. You guys know how I feel about this. I'm not very happy with the acquisition, and as I've said before, I wouldn't be happy if it was anyone else that purchased Activision Blizzard too, even if it was Sony or whoever else. I think the consolidation in the industry sucks. In any case, while I was talking to Mike last week, I did say that the writing on the wall was actually pretty darn obvious at this point. It was no longer hidden. It was a bright neon sign in the dark that says, we'll stop making consoles sooner than later. And not 2 days later, so in this case 5 days ago, the CEO of Microsoft said that they're going to now double down as a game publisher and a developer after the Activision Blizzard purchase. So That's almost confirmation of that. Obviously not. I expect at least one more console out of them before they dip out and start making their stuff as a third party Sega style. But I hope that's not the case. I really don't. So we'll see. Anyways, the shakeup. I'm trying to look for some information on it here. It has eluded me, and I forgot to pull it up earlier. Basically, they've moved people around. Some people have moved up, some people have moved over, some people have moved down, and it's just meant to make them hopefully operate better and get more stuff out there in quality, more or less, compared to what they've done over the past few years. PlayStation, on the other hand, is a bit more of a there's a forceful shakeup. Basically, some of the heads at PlayStation were forcibly retired. David Jaffe, actually, the original creator of God of War, he actually broke this news, kind of, I guess. He spoke vaguely the day before it happened, or at least before it was made known, that something was going on and PlayStation as we know it is going to be dead. Of course, he said it in a very sensationalized way, but it's in my opinion based on the rumors. I hope this is true in the sense of this is going to be good for PlayStation. Basically, Connie Booth, she's been at PlayStation for 34 years. She's been in a leading role within PlayStation to help kind of guide where they go, what games they make, how they operate as a company. And I mean, she's been there for quite a while, and so she's pretty important. And she was forcibly retired, which Sony hasn't confirmed this, but there's been enough people within Sony that have essentially confirmed it. And when you look at the totality of everything at Sony with um, whatever that guy's name is, the CEO who just stepped down of PlayStation recently, Jim Ryan. There we go. He retired recently, or he's about to retire. In any case, he stepped down, and it looked like it was his decision, but now it's almost looking like it was not his decision, which I'm sort of torn on this one. You look at PlayStation. The PlayStation 5 was the best launch of any console they've ever released. PlayStation 5 is looking to sell more this year than ever. They've releasing hit after hit after hit, and their games are phenomenal, and they're doing so well for themselves. However, there's also they've announced that they're going to start focusing more on games as a service. They're going to release more games in the vein of Destiny and Fortnite and whatnot that are, released this game. We're going to support it over the course of years. There's going to be microtransactions and all these other bullshit. And that's just not Sony. Sony's always been more of a single player, big budget, AAA, single player, phenomenally well built games. And people were upset that they seemed to be getting away from that. And anyway, the shakeup, getting rid of Connie Booth, appears to be in that vein. They're trying to step away from that direction that they were taking is a games as a service provider to back to what we know and love about PlayStation. And I hope that's the case. It's all rumors at this point. So we'll see. I mean, I feel like it's something that we'll have to experience because they're not going to be outright, hey, this is what we were doing. It was all stupid, so we fired people, and now we're doing this instead. Like, we're not going to get that information directly from Sony, so we're just going to have to kind of wait and see, really.
So
I
they're
actually
they're cutting a ton of
believe
live service games because I remember last they said that was a ton of their
they were trying to
upcoming
make at
projects.
least 60% of their projects were going to be live service games. They said that they weren't going to stop making the single player games,
But they were going
but
to
they were going to
increase,
make
yeah, the live service.
increase the live service and make that the majority of what they do. But with these shakeups, getting rid of their big dudes, Jim Ryan, Connie Booth, etc., and so on, and kind of moving away from that games as a service push, I actually have a tweet that I shared that kind of explains it. Let me find it real quick. It
So that
basically
raises
states
a ton of
here. This is
questions.
what this is
Go ahead.
exactly.
Yeah.
So basically, what it's saying here is that they're actually gonna continue the deals and acquisitions, meaning they've got a lot of goodwill. Why am I being called by Gary? Someone from work is calling me. I'm not worried about it right now.
You're off the clock, bro.
I'll go ahead and yeah, exactly. Anyways, they've got a lot of deals with third parties at the moment, where Final Fantasy VII and many other games from Square Enix and other partners and stuff, from Capcom, etc. They've got plenty of deals to make exclusive games for the PlayStation. Well, the rumor has it is that they're going to keep going with that, but they're also going to continue to buy developers and stuff, and people have been hoping for them to buy Square Enix for quite a while now. And Square Enix has made some moves trying to make it feel like it actually might be the case. I honestly don't expect them to buy it. I'm sure. I think they're going to continue to do the small acquisitions they've been doing for the past 5 or so years. We'll see. Anyway, the next one is they're going to focus on reviving old titles. Please, for the love of God, bring me back Legend of Dragoon.
Tenchu!
Please?
Tenchu!
Well, that's from Software.
I know.
The main one is just the reason why I was saying this when you walked up is they're reversing the orientation towards live service games and back towards what made them great over the last 10 years.
Right.
Single player, big budget titles. And then the interesting one is that they're now going to use contracts with Japanese third-party companies such as Sega, Bandai Namco, Square Enix, etc., to make exclusive PlayStation games with PlayStation IP. So that would be really interesting to see.
Yeah.
Like, imagine, we actually kind of talked about this before, and I'm trying to remember what it was, which game we were talking about, but we talked about it the other way around. PlayStation games making exclusive third-party IPs, but for PlayStation, exclusively for PlayStation. So now it's kind of reversing that, allowing, say, Capcom or Square Enix or whatever to make an exclusive IP that's one of their old IPs that we haven't seen in a long time. So that would be really cool.
From Software.
So many
Software.
possibilities.
Bring back
Yes.
fucking Tenchu. Dynasty Warriors God of War, says Cameron.
Oh man, there's
yeah, that's a weird one. That's a weird...
I don't know if I like that.
Lego God of War? I could get behind Kratos ripping the arms off of a Lego guy.
I'm trying to remember the developer. The developers that have been making the Dynasty Warriors games, but with Dragon Quest and Zelda and things of that sort. I can see that with certain PlayStation IPs.
Yeah.
Looking at my wall over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, but that would be have to be one of their smaller IPs. But
right.
I'm really thinking Legend of Dragoon.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's the only thing I can think of right now. Twisted Metal, maybe. I could see a Twisted Metal.
Was Parasite Eve an exclusive?
I'm pretty sure it was Capcom, although I think it was exclusive, but I'm pretty sure it was Capcom.
I would still love to see a new Parasite Eve.
Yes, I'm surprised they've abandoned that for as long as they have. To be
yeah. Anyway,
I'm wrong. It's Square Enix. But yeah.
Square. I thought so. I thought Square Enix was Parasite Eve because it was in that vein with a lot of those. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, very zombie-ish.
Yeah.
That's why I thought it was Capcom because Capcom is Resident Evil, and that was very much a Resident Evil style game.
It was. Yeah, it was definitely a step out of the norm for Square, and I loved it. God, I would love to see who is it that did Heavy Rain and Indigo Prophecy and all that. Who was that?
That was.
I would love to see another Heavy Rain or something like that.
Quantic Dream.
Yeah,
that's also not PlayStation
anymore, right? Yeah, but
they were never PlayStation. They were always a second party, meaning exclusive third party. I guess.
But what I'm saying is, I would love to see that again. Sean? Who's Sean? Sean? Oh, Sean. Yes. Sean. God damn it. How did I forget that? That's the whole beginning of the game. Sean!
It's such a great scene. Especially, you see the one where there was a bug where he would just constantly yelled Sean over and over and over again in that scene. It was pretty hilarious.
Amazing. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's cool, man. The shakeups have me concerned too. I know there was some news recently with a lot of layoffs in the tech world, and CD Projekt Red is now looking to unionize. I know.
Think they proved it already. Actually,
I hadn't seen. Just last I saw was that they were looking to. A friend of mine, my DM, who I've been playing D&D with for 7 years now or something like that. I don't know how long the hell it's been. Anyways, his coworker got no notice laid off, which sucks. He's work from home, works for Liberty Mutual, but yeah, he got no notice laid off. The tech field layoffs is hitting everybody, and I know a lot of industries are. Could you imagine Just imagine being in a field that is the entire field is going through a ton of layoffs, and you have no idea if your company's thinking the same thing or if your name is on a list, right? How fucking stressful would that goddamn be? That sounds awful.
Actually, the Media Molecule, the guys that make Little Big Planet, actually just went through a round of layoffs. I actually have a guy that I work with that goes to my church that because he's in the tech field. He explained this to me in a little bit of detail. Basically, when COVID happened and the work from home came a thing, the tech industry just freaking exploded, and they hired across the world, hired way too many people to basically sustain. And so after just a little bit of time, obviously only a couple of years, they basically have to shrink back to what they were before hiring all these extra people.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of why it's happening. I think the video game industry is more of greed.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the way Microsoft has fired somewhat like 12,000 people over the last year, and they're just like, we're not making enough money, and multiple other companies making record profits yet still laying people off. I think video games is kind of a shitty reason. Most of them anyway. Some of them I'm sure are the game suck and they can't keep up with this project, so we're going to cancel it and fire you guys.
Yeah.
I'm sure that happens. But
that's definitely not the majority. It's all about the shareholders keeping their millions is definitely the majority of it, I would say. Not that I'm like, it's hard. I have a hard line with rich people, right? Like my thing is like, if you worked your ass off to get to that point, you deserve the money you got. Like, I don't like Jeff Bezos as a person. I don't. But I can respect the man and how he got to where he is. Don't like him as a person. What he did is pretty damn impressive. Same with like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs too. Like all those guys who like actually built themselves up, pretty impressive. But like if you're on a board because your dad is rich, and you've got no other merits than you're some legacy kid, I don't. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole nother tangent.
You're right. Totally different topic. We'll get off topic.
Yep.
Basically, I'm hopeful for the shakeups at PlayStation to move back and focus on what's made them great over the last decade. Microsoft, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of talent that they just brought in, and therefore they're hoping to move it around in such a way that helps them as a brand. And with the CEO stating that they're going to move towards making more games and being a better publisher. I mean, hopefully that's a good thing. We don't want anything negative out of them. I just hope they don't, go down the path what they did with Bethesda and basically said, "Fuck the rest of the market, come over and buy an Xbox over here."
I think Liza P already made that part clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, we should move on. It's getting to about that time, and I want to talk about this next topic. This game, haven't played it yet. I'm thinking about buying it. This game called Beast is a thing. It's on Steam right now. I'm sure it's in some other marketplaces. It's in early access. I actually don't know if it's on other marketplaces. It might be on Epic Store. I haven't looked. Beast is a turn-based RPG, kind of in the sense of Baldur's Gate, but don't immediately go, holy shit, this is going to be a massive game. I don't know. All right, I don't know how deep the choices are going to go, because let's be real. Baldur's Gate goes deep. Baldur's Gate goes real deep with choices and player agency, and I've never played a game anywhere near that before. Baldur's Gate is a game I'll probably play the rest of my life because there's so many choices and different ways to go through it. Beast is a dark fantasy setting, a la Diablo 4, mixed with the turn-based kind of style. I don't think it's built off of 5e or Pathfinder or any D&D rule set. I think it's its own thing, but like you can see the trailer on YouTube and Twitch down there in the bottom right. It's dark, it's gory, and it's on their Steam page. I'm just gonna read this blurb. Unique beast system, right? So it's a story told from two perspectives. As you're seeing in this trailer, it tells you can either save all your people or slaughter them. And it says in here, either exercise your inner beast. I know that probably doesn't come over, but exercise like use it, or exercise like, Catholic Church exorcism. Yeah. Your inner beast. You decide. The insanity system pushes players to make difficult moral decisions during combat. That's a whole nother, like, that bit of that sentence makes me go, what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean?
There's gonna be a lot of intrigue in this game.
Because, like, there's been points where me and Chris, we're getting that ticket to the gym, duh. I love you, Cameron. There's been points in Baldur's Gate where, like, in my solo campaign, that I have just been like, and like sit back and like look at what just happened and go, I don't know what the fuck the right choice is here. So, difficult moral decisions during combat where you have to make them on the fly, that sounds a little wild. Granted, it is turn-based, so obviously you can just take your hands off and take a look, but it looks really cool. It's brutal, dynamic, melee-focused combat. Command your squad in fast-paced, gridless, turn-based, tactical battles, advance and survive, intense viscera. It's story rich, it's deep, and it's on sale right now because of the Halloween sale. So the sale ends on November 1st on Wednesday. It's $20 right now. It's $25. It's in early access. It's $25 normally. It's 20% off right now at $20. I'm very heavily debating picking this up because I love the graphics, I love the setting, the story. The trailer gives you just enough to be like, well, that sounds interesting. You know, it's just enough to tease you into wanting to play it. It looks cool.
The one of the ways that it was advertised, there was an article that was written about it in any case, is that it's Baldur's Gate meets Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
And the Diablo is not gameplay, it's more the looks and
yeah.
And the funny thing about that to me is that the cutscenes in the game remind me heavily of the cutscenes in Diablo 2 way back in the day. Which, I mean, in all of the ways. Like, it looks like the cutscenes were built on that tech, just with better resolution. Which, obviously, they're better than that. But it just, the way the aesthetic they've built feels like that. And that's a good thing.
Yes.
It reminds you of Diablo in that way.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, it's super dark, and watching the trailer and everything else, I'm like, this is a game that I could potentially play, and being able to choose to be both good and bad, but also force you to make difficult decisions in difficult times, not just, let's take my time and make my choice. It's, oh fuck, I gotta do something now.
Yeah.
Oh, I made the wrong one. And I just realized that there's an icon of Christ in this trailer, so they actually have the church involved too.
Yeah, so about the game, on their Steam page, they've got a quick little blurb here. It says, long presumed dead, a veteran returns from a 10-year-long Ottoman slavery. His Carpathian? Carpathian? Is that a word? Carpathian? Carpathian homeland is... I can read. I played enough Zelda and Pokemon as a kid to learn how to read. His Carpathian homeland is... oh, shit. I'm alright, man. I'm losing it on that word. Homeland is feebly... reigned by the demented prophet king, its lands ruined by soldiers and cursed with a hellish plague. Everything he loved and cherished is gone, either gone or has changed beyond recognition. All he has left is his soldiers' loyalty and a holy quest to end the plague. Facing hordes of enemies as well as his inner demons, you must help him see it through, no matter the cost. So sounds pretty dope. Yes, my reading is not very effective, I'll give you that.
The insanity system is how it probably has me the most interested. I just wish I had $20 to throw it at.
Yeah. Atmospheric, story-rich, grim, dark world inspired by Carpathian legends. I don't know what this word is, Carpathian. I've never heard this word in my life, but I'm also not a reader.
Carpathian is a location.
Carpathian. Yeah, okay, yeah. Alright, so it's the Carpathian Mountains. Okay. A range of mountains in Central Europe, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Alright, that makes more sense now. I got my geography lesson for the day. It looks really cool. System requirements for the PC world, GTX 1050, GTX 1050, AMD RX 560 as a minimum. Recommended obviously is going to be higher than that. Your recommended is going to be a 2080 or a 6700, which general mid-tier graphics cards, obviously you can go above that with some good stuff, but it looks good, man. I want to play it. I really do.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The game looks pretty good, but there's the Steam Scream sale at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And Choo Choo Charles is on sale, and I'm interested in that. And I've been interested. I mean, come on now, a spider train, like it looks scary as fuck.
It is a little demented.
Yeah, that's when I've been interested in. I just noticed something. I'm like, I just ran out of money. So.
Cameron just put in here that he just finished Final Fantasy 16. Cameron, if you're interested, we'd love to have you on the show sometime to tell us your thoughts on it, because I know you and I kind of briefly talked on it. So hit me up on Facebook or something after the podcast, and we'll see about getting you on an episode to share your thoughts if you'd like. I think that'd be kind of fun. The Scream sale is pretty awesome. I have 8 games in my Steam shopping cart right now, and it's just under $80 for all of them. That includes Beast, Styx, Shards of Darkness, which is a great stealth game. Played it a long time ago. Doom VFR, bro. That game is $15 regularly. It's $4.49 right now. Evil Within 2, Dark Pictures Anthology, House of Ashes.
Evil Within 2 is currently free on Epic.
Yeah, I haven't bought it because of that. Evil Within, and then Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, because it's a game I haven't played since it was fucking new. I want to go back and play it again. And Into the Radius, which is a VR game that's like a survival zombie game that looks really sick too. But just under $80 for all of that, and I'm like, I kind of want to pull the trigger. But yeah, I'm excited for Beast. I'm excited to see hopefully a GTA 6 trailer soon. But I think that's gonna about do it for us tonight. Cameron's telling me to pull the trigger. He's the devil on my shoulder. Do it. Do it.
Except for the Evil Within 2. Free.
Yeah.
Go get it free.
Yeah. Just take that one off. But Tim, any final thoughts before we wrap tonight?
Honestly, no, not really. The news has been decent this week, but I mean, hopefully there's be something next week. I mean, I know it's getting to that time of year where games are starting to release rather than them to announce, but at the very least, we do have the Game Awards to look forward to in December.
Yep, and for those of you who are interested, our Patreon topic for tonight, Tim and I are going to do a live react of the trailer for Star Citizen's single-player mode that they're launching. I know shit all about the game outside of that it's taken millions and 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 millions of dollars to make. Wow, that looks really cool on the audio. Yes. So we're going to do a live react video of that. That will be in the audio recording as well for Patreon, but the video of it too will also be posted on our Patreon. So it's $3 a month, guys. Come over, check it out. We give you at least 15 minutes of topic. You also get the episodes a day early, and then you'll get exclusive stuff like our live react video, which I'm sure after a while will probably get posted to our YouTube, but that'll probably be about a month or so from now, I would imagine. But thanks for listening, and tell your mom I said hi. That's a wrap.